Hello friends and welcome to the Figure Central. In today's episode we're going to be looking at this 1/12 scale action figure by Cang Toys titled Mora. I did want to give a big shout out to bumbusbee.net because they are the ones that actually sent this my way for me to give an honest review, and just like my other reviews that I've done for them, this is going to be my opinion. This is not based on their opinions or the manufacturers. With all that said and done, let's get to it. As far as the box goes, they put a little bit of a metallic coating on it and some cool art here in the cover, and then some picture of the actual figure in the back. Some instructions and a promo card for upcoming figures. Let's start with the accessories first, and then we'll move on to the actual action figure. I'm not sure what to call this accessory because it's not a dress and they're not pants, but they kind of hang on the waist of the character. But really cool design, well painted. I love the buckles, a lot of metallic parts there, or painted like metallic. The plastic is flexible, and in that section here it just looks almost like a little shark. Don't know exactly what that's supposed to do as far as the lore of the character, but each side of those have flexibility, they can move around as well. And of course the stand, and I left this in the video because it was super easy to put together. I mean, that was it, ready to go. Let's get a closer look at the weapon here. Really good detail and a really dope design here. Black horn. And you have one of the bigger swords come out. Go to the section here, and then you have a smaller sword here. And this also right here can attach to the side of the skirt. And here's the ponytail accessory. This goes connected onto the back of the head. And here's the additional head that you get. This one has no horns, and the extra face is already installed. On the back of it, you will see an extra peg. This is where you connect the ponytail. And here's another extra face, making it a total of 3 extra faces. All right, well, let's go ahead and look at the action figure. And so this is the head that I mentioned earlier with the horns. The other head does not have that, so this is the horn version. And in the back, there's the little peg for the ponytail. But really cool armor design. This reminds me of Final Fantasy Tactics as far as the armor, how it looks. Good paint job, looks great. All right, well, let's go ahead and look at the range on the arm. So this is the shoulder, the left and right, that's as high as it goes. That's his limit right there. And then if you move it forward and up, then the hand or the arm can go higher. So that is the range there. And there's a little bit of a butterfly on the shoulder there, so you get a little bit of range as well. So that's pretty neat that they did add that. I always like it when they do that. And outside of that, this section here can spin in 360. And as far as the elbow goes, there's not a lot of range here, and that's primarily because of the design of the actual, it's supposed to be clothing. It just kind of limits that, so the hand is not able to touch the shoulder. So just something to kind of keep in mind there. But the hand itself, it does have just your typical ball joint kind of setup. And as far as the head goes, this is the left and right movement and forward and back. The neck is not separated from the torso, so it's only the head to the neck. So there's not a lot of range there. So just that's kind of the limit of what you're gonna see there. And as far as the ab crunch goes, it looks like the upper chest and the abs is the only connection that you have there. And even within that, I'm not seeing a lot of range here. It's kind of limited. If I push it anymore here, it'll probably pop off. Let's look at the legs. So this is the forward movement. Also, not a lot of range there. That's as far as it'll go forward. And this is as far as it'll go backwards. So there's some limit there. Let's go ahead and look at, we can get it to do a splits. Oh, look at that, the arm came off. Okay, I'll have to look at that in a second here. But yeah, the splits, not a lot there. That's kind of the limit right there. Okay, let's look at the leg. So this is the knee, the thigh and the calf are able to touch pretty well, so that's good. So that double jointed knee comes into play here. And let's look at the ankle here. So you get some movement there, forward and back, but you don't get a lot of it from left to right. So the primary movement is going to be forward and back. And I'm sure if you angle it, you can kind of create a little bit more range on the angle, but that's kind of primarily how this was set up. All right, well, let's go ahead and put the arm back and see if maybe perhaps it was just not installed properly before they shipped it out. But yeah, pop right in, no issues there. The overall stiffness on this, it definitely leans more on the harder stiffness, which is odd because their previous release, Dragon Grow, didn't have that issue. So I don't know if they were just trying to overcorrect on maybe the prior design, but this one's definitely a bit stiffer. But the arm seems like it's staying in place, so that's good. All right, well, let's go ahead and do a face swap and see how easy it is to do that. So you just remove the hair, and then the face kind of came off with the hair. I also wanted to point out that the face on this figure does not fit the previous release. So even though it's the same company or whatever, the mold on the back of it is very different, so you're not going to be able to do any kind of face swaps, which is kind of disappointing because I was hoping, since it's the same line, they would kind of keep that going, but that's not the case. So this is the other face that I'm going to put in here, and it just pops right in. Same thing with the hair, it just pops right in. So no issues, you don't need a heat gun, it'll just fall into place. So there you go. All right, well, let's go ahead and try to do a hand swap now. And yeah, this popped right out, no need for a heat gun. Let's go ahead and grab an additional one here. This one took a little bit of work, but it still went in, no problem. But it's always better to be on the safe side, so if you can use a heat gun, I definitely recommend it. Now let's go ahead and install the ponytail. So it just connects here, pops right in, no issues there, and there was no need for a heat gun. Let's try to add the other accessory, which is this right here. Has the connection there, it goes there. And this is gonna wrap around her legs, going around the waist. I also wanted to test out how well it handles holding the heavy weapon, and it surprisingly it can hold on to the weapon. Unlike the Dragon Girl, the hands just kept on falling off anytime you put any kind of pressure. So this is good. Okay, well, let's go ahead and look at the hands now. And now the standing test. Let's see if the figure is able to stand on its own without the need of additional help. And unfortunately, after trying for quite a bit, I was not successful. So yes, this figure will need the stand for it to be able to stand. It cannot do it on its own. And now for a quick size comparison. So here she is next to a McFarlane action figure, next to a Marvel Legends action figure, next to a Figure Arts action figure, and next to a NECA action figure. And the actual height of the figure is about 6.5 inches, counting the horns. All right, so what are my final thoughts on this? Overall, I would say that this figure looks phenomenal. They did a really good job with the design. I'm very happy with what they were able to achieve. It went well beyond what I saw on the promo pictures, so that was a plus. I like the double swords that they gave us, and the extra dress, I guess you want to call, or skirt. The two swords look great, great detail. We got that extra head, the expressions, the paint job, the design. It just looks phenomenal. Like, I have no complaints in that department at all. However, though, the first issue that I ran into was in regards to the ponytail. For some reason, it just completely snapped off. and I didn't even drop it or I didn't even pull it. It literally, I set the figure down and it just snapped off. So if you have this, just be wary of this because that joint just seems to be pretty weak. But besides the ponytail snapping off, that wasn't as big of a deal to me as the articulation was. And it's odd because this is the exact same system, at least outwardly, to the Dragon Girl as far as the points of articulation are. But yet this one had less range and the joints were a lot stiffer, so making it harder to move in it. Even some points I felt a little scared to move because it almost felt like it was gonna snap. So that didn't make any sense. It's like they went backwards. Outside of that, I would have loved to have seen them throw in an extra face and an extra pair of hands. That would have been great, especially since these are all painted faces. There's no moving eyeballs. So that kind of helps having those extra expressions. Outside of that, they did fix the issue with the hands, so the hands are able to stay, unlike the Dragon Girl where if you barely shook it hard enough the hands will fall off. That wasn't the case with this one, so at least they fixed that. They also threw in this extra cool card that I forgot to show you earlier, and also after playing with it I discovered that the top chest of the figure is actually made out of silicone. I also wanted to mention that the clothing does not come off, in case you're wondering. That's not the case for this figure. Well, that is it, friends. That's all I have in regards to this action figure. Curious to see what you guys think. Are you gonna pick this up or are you gonna pass on it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy my content and want to support my channel, please consider liking, commenting, or sharing. Perhaps hitting the subscription notification bell. Or even better, if you decide to do any kind of shopping, try using the affiliate link to bombasb.net at the end of my video or my video description. Thank you again for all your support, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Take care of yourselves out there, and bye-bye.